collapsed on Monday. I don't know what's going on right now, but we're losing all of the rally, and the big name dragging us on the Dow once again is Goldman Sachs. So should we be worried that Steven Mnuchin had to make this call? Was it a mistake? Because Treasury Secretary Baker did something very similar to this in 1987, and it didn't help, and it helped create, I think, Black Monday.
Look, Secretary Mnuchin is in constant contact with the financial community. He's friends with most of those folks. He himself operated in that space. And it's very normal for the Treasury Secretary to call people up and say, hey, how's Christmas looking? You know, they've got credit card data. How are sales going?
But to say,
and
hey,
also,
do you guys have enough cash on hand for a run on the banks? I mean, was that the question?
Well, you know, I did not participate in the conversations, but it's extremely normal for the Treasury Secretary to keep his finger on the pulse of financial markets. And, you know, right now, as you've mentioned, you know, markets have been quite volatile, and they've headed down, something like 8% over the last few weeks. And when something like that goes on, then it's absolutely natural for a Treasury Secretary to call people up and say, hey, what are you seeing? Is there something going on that you know, I should know about? And of course, what everybody said is what I just said to you, is that you know, they're looking at the data. Things are very strong. Sales are very strong, and liquidity is there. And so, you know, I think that whether you can calm markets or not at any given day is something that, you know, is a very, very difficult thing to say, right?
There, though, Kevin, let's be honest. The psychology is to make this call on Christmas, you know, a couple days from Christmas on a Sunday. It's felt like a sense of panic. President Trump. Mixed articles out there this morning on how he feels about this call on Mnuchin. Can you tell us if he's happy with Steven Mnuchin right now?
Oh, I'm highly confident that the president is very happy with Secretary Mnuchin. You know, I've met with them together in the Oval many, many times, and they have a very collegial and productive working relationship. And so those stories are just false.
What about some of the other market-centric things that we're seeing? For instance, Susan Lee just shared a stat with us on the role of computers, high-frequency trading algorithms. Again, you go back to Black Monday, and it was what they call portfolio insurance. It wasn't portfolio insurance. It didn't work. It backfired, in part because of computerized programming trading. It was a 300-page report, that the Brady report for Congress, that put most of the blame on these computerized trading programs. Here we are, fast forward this many years later, and they're still crushing the markets at times. Should there be some way to slow them down at all in your mind?
Well, this is an issue that Treasury Secretary Mnuchin is studying very closely. He's spoken publicly about the fact that he is concerned that there might be something there that needs to be attended to. But, you know, on the other side, having lots of liquidity in markets because there's a lot of trading going on is a good thing for people who want to trade. And so, you know, I look forward to seeing what Mnuchin's team comes up with.
It's a good thing for traders. What about the individual investor? This is what I don't get, Kevin. And President Trump ran as a man of the people, the forgotten man and woman in middle America. They also want to invest in the market because they want to put kids through college. They want to buy a house one day. They want to retire, you know, and have a few dreams come true. Is it fair for them to have to try to live in this environment where it's great for Wall Street to have these algorithms going crazy? Okay, a lot of people on Wall Street made money when the Dow got crushed on Monday, but the average person out there didn't.
Right. Well, you know, the only tried and true strategy, and John Bogle is somebody who's talked about this for decades, is to buy and to hold. And that's, you know, that's what I've done my whole life, and that's what probably most of your listeners do as well. And, you know, when you buy or when you sell, you want to know that there's liquidity in the market so that someone will transact with you. But I think that buying and holding has been a proven strategy. It's worked going all the way back to the early 1800s, and that's the appropriate strategy. This moving in and moving out is not something that small investors should be playing around.
It's not that they want to, but let's be honest, it is tough. I mean, you know, you go in, you buy Amazon at you know, 1,700, and then a month later it's 1,300. You're kind of like your gut is churning. The pain is there. You can pull up a 100-year chart to try to assuage your own anxieties, but it's tough. It's really tough, and you wonder why. Why is the administration letting this happen? Why do they allow the big boys to do all this crazy Wild West stuff when I just want to get a piece of the action? You know, it's tough.
Right.
We know it's tough, right?
Yeah, but in the end, if the economy grows and profits grow and dividends grow, then, you know, markets go along with it. And so there are a lot of day-to-day fluctuations or month-to-month fluctuations. But in the end, if the economy is growing at 3%, then that's very, very positive news for markets going forward, because it means that earnings are going to be higher.
You think 3% is good for 2019?
3%. Yeah, that's right. And we're looking at a 3% quarter now for Q4 because we're getting so much anecdotal information about a solid Christmas.
Yeah, that retail sales, the group part, I think, solidify your 3%. Kevin, you guys have done a great job. We appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on. There are some serious concerns on Main Street, though, that